You're listening to the Quint podcast.
The foundation has been officially laid for the construction of a Ram temple 28 years after the Babri Masjid was demolished. And all eyes were on Ayodhya on 5th August as the Ram Mandir Trust conducted the bhoomi poojan or the foundation laying ceremony in the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and around 170 other spiritual and political leaders. With this, the BJP's promise towards its Hindu voter base for a Ram temple in Ayodhya, the mythical birthplace of Ram, is one step closer to fulfillment. In an address after the ceremony, Modi said that the centuries of wait is finally over.
पूरा देश रोमांचित है, हर मन दीपमय है। आज पूरा भारत भावुक है। सदियों का इंतजार आज समाप्त हो रहा है।
Given the ongoing pandemic and the news of Home Minister Amit Shah testing COVID positive, the guest list was trimmed. L.K. Advani, who is the face of the Ram Mandir agitation, likely stayed away from the ceremony like Amit Shah, given the risks. Even so, the pandemic did not seem to dampen the mood. After the ceremony, Shah tweeted from his isolation saying, and I'm quoting his tweet here, quote, "The construction of a Ram temple in Ayodhya has been a symbol of faith for Hindus around the world for centuries." End quote. But irrespective of the gusto around it, historically the pitch for a Ram temple has precariously balanced on Hindu nationalism, a pitch that we've perhaps seen grow even louder in the recent years. So how much is the Ram temple construction going to change the political paradigm of India in the coming years? And what symbolic message does this grand socio-political project send to the secular India? You're tuned in to The Big Story, the podcast where we dissect the headline-making news for you. And I'm your host, Shorbari. After one of the longest legal battles in the country, the Supreme Court had handed over the disputed 2.77 acres of land to Hindus last year, and while delivering its verdict, the court had also directed the central government to set up a trust for the construction of a Ram temple in Ayodhya. And the 15-member Ram Janmabhoomi Tirth Kshetra Trust was mandated by the centre to oversee this temple project. So when can we expect the completion of the Ram Mandir exactly? Well, according to reports, members of the trust say that the temple will be completed within 3 to 3.5 years from when it starts. We know that the first phase has already begun to create a new spot for the Hindu deity to be kept. And currently, the Ram Lalla idol has been shifted to a temporary structure near Manas Bhavan in Ram Janmabhoomi. For a more detailed timeline on the events that led to the Babri Masjid demolition and the mysterious appearance of the Ram Lalla idol within the masjid premises, do check out our two-part explainer podcast on the Ayodhya dispute on the Quint's website. You can also check out our Babri Masjid episode from our Wherever You Went podcast series, where we asked journalists to recount about what happened on 6 December 1992 when the 16th century mosque was razed down to the ground by car sevaks. You can also find all the links to these podcasts on our show notes. But moving on, at the ceremony, PM Modi likened the Ram Janmabhoomi movement to India's independence struggle, saying that the temple construction is the symbol of centuries of sacrifices.
हमारे स्वतंत्रता आंदोलन के समय कई पीढ़ियों ने अपना सब कुछ समर्पित कर दिया था। गुलामी के कालखंड में कोई ऐसा समय नहीं था जब आजादी के लिए
During the independence struggle, many generations of Indians sacrificed everything they had. During those days of colonialism, there was not a moment without resistance and sacrifices for freedom. And 15th August is a symbol of those millions of sacrifices and the will to be independent. Similarly, many generations have struggled for centuries for the Ram Mandir. Today, we are seeing the symbol of that sacrifice and resolve.
राम मंदिर के लिए कई सदियों तक कई पीढ़ियों ने अविरत एक निष्ठ प्रयास किया है। आज का ये दिन उसी तप, त्याग और संकल्प का प्रतीक है।
When the Ram Janmabhoomi movement was put into motion by senior BJP leader L.K. Advani and other right-wing leaders in the 80s, it steered India's politics to a completely different direction. In the decades of dispute that followed regarding the ownership of the plot where the Babri Masjid now stands demolished, a lot has changed in India's socio-political fabric. So is there a symbolic message here in terms of Hindu nationalism now that the Ram temple is finally getting built? Pragya Tiwari, a journalist who's written a lot about how her hometown Ayodhya changed since the Babri Masjid demolition, says that there's a powerful message here in the way the religion of the majority has been coupled with politics.
There is a very powerful symbolic message in what is happening today, what's unfolding today in the events in Ayodhya and the manner in which they have been planned, that in our country now, and perhaps irrevocably, religion, the religion of the majority of this country, Hinduism, has been coupled both with politics and with nationalism. And that, of course, stands in stark contrast to the idea of a purely secular country. What is important to bear in mind that the emergence of political Hinduism has also in this country eclipsed conservative Hinduism, not just liberal and constitutional ideals. And that is what is foregrounded in the ceremony that we have witnessed this morning and this afternoon. And I say this without any value judgment, whether this is something which is time had come, or whether this will stand the country in better stead than the country has stood until now, remains to be seen.
The Ram Janmabhoomi movement was also the watershed moment in India's political history where the political Hindu ideology was catapulted into the limelight. It's what pushed the BJP's popularity in the parliament too in the latter half of the 1980s. And going forward in the coming years, how much is the Ram temple construction expected to change the political paradigm of the country? Ms. Tiwari talks about what could be the possible implications of this project on identity politics.
The Ram Janmabhoomi movement essentially became the vehicle for political Hinduism to be foregrounded, to become prominent, and to achieve the sort of primacy that it has achieved today. And there is a larger project of changing the idea and ideals and identity of India and Indians, which has been achieved through many different ways, through cultural ways, social ways, through education, through politics, through institutional changes and takeover. But the thread that has sort of woven all of this together loosely has been the Ram Janmabhoomi temple. Prior to the Ram Janmabhoomi temple, there were attempts made through, for example, Gauraksha, etc., to bring Hindus together to create a pan-Hindu identity and to get this project that I was speaking about earlier going. However, nothing succeeded like the Ram Temple movement from the 80s onwards. And it has reached a sort of culmination today with the founding of the temple. The temple is, of course, yet to be constructed. It is going to be constructed. It's going to be inaugurated. What the implications of this are for the future of the country remains to be seen. However, like I said earlier, religion and politics and nationalism are now irrevocably conjoined with one another, and that is going to remain the paradigm, and how that paradigm is interpreted and manifests itself, and what that means for Indians and what that means for the minorities of this country will to a large extent depend on political choices made by leaders, as well as socio and cultural choices made by the citizens of this country.
While the centre is riding on glory, the opposition is walking on a tightrope between resisting their comments and welcoming the ceremony. While some like Aam Aadmi Party chief Arvind Kejriwal and Congress General Secretary Priyanka Gandhi released congratulatory statements on the occasion of the Bhoomi Poojan, TMC chief Mamata Banerjee instead decided to maintain a stony silence on the matter and instead go with a message of unity among all religions. Others like AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi criticized Modi for quote-unquote violating his constitutional oath. Are most of the opposition parties treading carefully? The Quint's political editor Aditya Menon analyzes the opposition's response.
I think there are degrees even within the opposition. On one hand, we have someone like Priyanka Gandhi, the Congress's General Secretary in Uttar Pradesh, who's almost trying to uh, ride the Ram Mandir bandwagon with the kind of the graphics that the Mahila Congress and the Uttar Pradesh Congress has been circulating, of Priyanka Gandhi standing like a devotee with the Ram Mandir and the image of Lord Ram in the background. So that's one approach from the opposition. Then, of course, there's the Madhya Pradesh Congress and Kamal Nath who have also followed a similar approach. Obviously, both these want to expand at the BJP's expense in their respective states. Therefore, they have tried to and tried to ensure that the BJP doesn't have monopoly over the Ram Mandir issue. Then we have in difference in degrees is the other tweets put out by Rahul Gandhi and Akhilesh Yadav. Both of them don't mention the Bhumi Pujan, but they invoke Lord Ram. So they also want to play it safe. They don't want to alienate this section, but they also don't want to anger minorities. So I think there's a difference in degrees between what they are doing and what Priyanka Gandhi is doing. Then we have someone like Mayawati who made an interesting statement that there are various facets, various communities have a stake in Ayodhya. So, and not just the Babri Masjid Ram Mandir dispute. So she's in a way silently trying to say that there was probably even a Buddhist heritage to Ayodhya. Uh, then you have some like Mamata Banerjee who chose not to write anything on Ram Mandir or invoke Lord Ram and instead said Hindu Muslim Sikh Isai sab hai bhai bhai, which means she was calling for communal harmony. She had also imposed a blockade in the state today, so that in anticipation of any mobilization or possible functions held by the BJP. So I mean this is another approach. Then you have Arvind Kejriwal, who's again like Priyanka Gandhi trying to invoke Lord Ram and say that how the Bhumi Pujan is a big event for the country. So no, but it does seem that no one wants to talk about Babri Masjid. No one wants to say that Babri Masjid was demolished in the so-called secular opposition space. And I think that aspect has almost virtually been left open for people like Asaduddin Owaisi and the All India Muslim Personal Law Board, who said today that the Babri Masjid is still alive and the Babri Masjid was demolished, and they kept talking about the demolition. So it's clear that the opposition has, much of the opposition has taken a very safe route regarding the Ram Mandir Bhumi Pujan today.
If you like listening to this episode, please subscribe to the Big Story playlist for episodic updates. We're live on Apple, Google Podcast, Spotify, JioSaavn, and most of the other popular podcast streaming platforms. For other podcasts, please log on to the Quint website and check out the podcast section. For any feedback, shoot an email to podcasts@thequint.com.
Thanks for listening. Log on to the Quint's website and check out our other podcasts.